So I am a professional organizer. I've been my own entrepreneur for 7 years now, which I cannot believe.
That's amazing.
So I was thinking back like the beginning stages of it is all. And so the way that I work with clients is that I get to know them really, really well, right? What their needs are, what their family needs are, what are their goals. Either or, keep it at least 2 weeks to a month to see how it works for you.
Right.
What you're also going to be implementing on yourself are boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hardest part.
It's kind of like a self-discovery.
It's a self-discovery mission. And guess what? It's ever evolving.
Right.
That have been folded. And the last thing, she's like, why is it that it can't be placed over there?
Right.
I said, because there's no home.
Today on the podcast, we are joined by Mull. She owns and operates D's Declutter. And let me tell you, she gives you so many tips for organization and simplifying your life, especially for us busy entrepreneurs. I hope that you enjoy this episode and you gain valuable advice. Welcome to the podcast, Deanna. I'm so happy to have you. I feel like we speak very similar language, and that is the language of simplicity and organization. And I feel like there's so many topics we could touch on, because I feel that this is very timely. Spring cleaning is coming up, and also we are just busier than ever and we need systems. So I think we can talk about the entrepreneurial side, right? Because you have lived many lives. And also, you need to give us practical advice as to how to get our lives in order so that we don't feel crazy.
Yes.
That's a lot to unpack.
Let me just process that for a second. But first off, thank you so much for being here, for me to be here, and to actually talk to you about all this, because I love talking about this.
Yeah.
I inspire my clients, and you're right, we do have similar messaging. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important for your listeners to understand that they're not alone. Right. And I think that's one of the things that we feel, that we're just by ourselves. Mm-hmm. And it's not the case. Right. I mean, and so knowing that ahead of time, that is like the biggest challenge to overcome.
Right.
Because we always feel like we're on an island, right? You come into your house, it's overwhelming. You have the 6 to 8 witching hour, 5 to 8, maybe 4 to 8 now, right? That witching hour. Mm-hmm. And you're going around in circles. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. Right? So just take a step back, take a breath, and just kind of just be like, it's going to be okay.
Right.
And so if you already start with that mental process of saying that it's going to be okay, step by step, little by little, mm-hmm. right? Then
that's
the outcome, you have to overcome that. Mm-hmm. And then once you're there, then systems do come in place. Because everybody has different systems. Everybody will, like you and I, we can walk in our own homes and we'll be like, oh,
Right. And we can learn from each other.
And we can learn from each other. So there's not one. And so like if you pick out certain aspects of things that you might do, that I might do, or maybe like your next door neighbor, your dearest friend, mm-hmm. and then incorporate it for you, you could try it out. Because tweaking systems is the best thing that one can do.
Absolutely. I agree.
Right? Because you have to tweak, right? Because our children grow up.
We
grow up. Well, the reality is that we evolve,
yes.
And systems evolve.
Right.
And the thing is that while we evolve, we have to make sure that it's sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you have the first step and the last step. So the first step is to actually get there, to mm-hmm. find it, to figure it out. And the last step is to say, okay, how am I going to make this last?
Right.
That maintenance, right? Like, so you do all the work, right? You go all through all those steps that everyone hears about. You go through it and you get there and you're like, oh my gosh, look how beautiful. Like you have your background right here.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, okay, great. That's lovely. And then the week later, you're like, okay, well, what happened to, why do I have piles? Why are the backpacks here? Right? Like, then you have to then say, okay, then my work.
Right.
Well, why is my desk like this?
Right.
It didn't happen this way.
Okay, don't look at my desk.
Don't look at my desk either.
Like, not right now.
No, don't look at mine either. Like literally, okay? Like literally, we don't want to go there, right? No. And so, but the thing is that if you can already acknowledge that, mm-hmm. you're good.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It's what I call Life happens.
Right.
And you don't need to be embarrassed about it.
Right.
You just really don't. You just have to embrace it.
Right. And I think be solutions based, right?
Right.
The first step is, okay, I have a problem. Now I need to find a solution. And that's where you really come in because you're a professional. Yeah. And let's sort of take a step back. What is it that you actually do? So people can understand what your perspective is.
Right. So I am a professional organizer. I've been my own entrepreneur for 7 years now, which I cannot believe.
That's amazing.
So I was thinking back like the beginning stages of it is all because it was pre-COVID.
Wow.
So, yeah. Right.
Different environment.
Different environment, different thought processes of like how to do things with clients, right, at that time. And so the way that I work with clients is that I get to know them really, really well, right? What their needs are, what their family needs are, what are their goals, right? And how to get there is based on what they want to have accomplished.
Right.
So let's just say, we'll take like the kitchen, right? So I call the kitchen the heart of the home.
I would agree.
Right? Because that's where everybody is.
Right.
That's where everybody eats. That's where everyone meets. That's where the mail gets dumped.
Right.
The mail that you do get, whatever you get in the mail. Right? Like, and nowadays,
Pay attention to.
yeah, you just kind of like, and then it just kind of like grows and it's on that countertop on the side, right? And you're like, I don't know what to do with that. Where to stick up to the side, right? You know, what are those? And so like, the thing is that like, how does that work? Like, why is that there?
Right.
Right? Like, why is it there? Because it's easy. Right? So if you think back of things that you can make easier to get rid of it, which only takes 5 minutes. So it's the timing,
Yes.
right? It's making that initial step. It's like so we have in our house, we have a shoe mat by the front door, and I have like a shoe rack by the garage door, right? So
We have a basket.
right. Okay. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Right. So how many times do you actually find shoes actually in that basket? The percentages kind of be 60, maybe 80. On a good day, maybe you got like all of them. That's
Yes.
like 100. That's like on a really good day. Right.
Where you're like, yes,
You're just like, yes, that
my
basket.
training.
The basket actually works. Like for me, my doormat. Oh yeah. Okay, fine. Or like the other day, my daughter's like, where are my sneakers? Well, I don't know. Right. So
Your sneakers?
no, but literally this one was not on her, not on me, not anybody in the family, but the cleaning lady decides to put it in someone else's closet.
Right.
But it's okay.
It happens.
It happens. Right? Just by chance, it happens. But we always get asked, where did you do that? Where did you put them? Right? So it's more of like getting the kids involved, right?
Right.
Now that mine are older, it's easier to do it. So now for the younger ones, it's the same thing. So like if you take off the shoes, this is where you put them. Right? So that in the morning, the madness is like, oh, where the shoes are right here. Right. Right. So it's now you have to build habits, not only for the kids, but also for you and also for as the CEO of the household. Right. So, but it's so easy not to keep that going
Yeah.
because
It's just another thing.
it's another thing.
Right.
And like, why do I even want to be bothered?
Right.
Because I'm really tired.
right.
Right. I have a really long day. We all have long days. Right. So whether you work, whether you're the CEO, whatever you do in life, your days are busy, right? And so that's how I work with my clients. I figure out those daily things, right? And we come up with morning and night routines,
Oh, I like that.
right? Because that actually helps get everything started.
Right. And most of us spend a significant, well, I guess now there are a lot of individuals that work from home, but
right.
the reality is a lot of people go out to work. So those are like the bookend, of your day.
Yes.
And the chunk of it, you're not really home.
No.
So you can at least worry less about that time and worry about the times that you guys are actually at home.
Yes. Yes. So I throw myself in. I give myself as an example, right? So did my daily and weekly and my monthly actually happen overnight? Absolutely not. I mean, because it's evolving.
Right.
Right. So a good example of a weekly, I'll give two. One is weekly meal planning. I'm a really strong proponent on making that happen for families, even for individuals.
Right.
Right. Because we are busy. And the last thing I want to do is get home and figure out what I'm going to eat.
Open the fridge.
And you open it up and be like, oh, I have grapes.
Right.
I have nothing else.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Or like, what are we going to do? I go to the pantry. Oh, it's expired food. Right? So have I been there? Absolutely. I might have had a little bit more grapes, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is I've been there. Right? And so what do you do? Right? Aside from panicking, calling Uber Eats and be like, okay, I'm going to spend money. I know, like spend some extra money here. Right? So then you kind of have to figure that out. You have to break it down. Right? And so if you figure out, like, so for me, my meal planning is on Sundays.
Same.
Okay. So, I have some clients that do Sunday and Wednesdays because that's based on their families.
Makes sense.
Okay. Because they do Wednesdays is more refresh of like the fresher fruits because they go to the marketplace and they do all that. So that's for them. Right. But if you get that on a schedule, it makes things so much easier.
Right.
Now we'll take it now even a step farther. This is like the most recent where I have a client that uses AI to do weekly meal planning.
I love this concept.
Okay, so now it's so specific. She targeted it down to just for her needs, to the recipes. And so it breaks it down to actually where to buy.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, no. Like where to buy everything on that specific recipe accordingly. And it also consolidates it to make it a one-stop shop.
I really like that. I have not implemented that.
So that's like, this is like I'm saying, the latest discovery, thanks to my client.
Right.
I was like, wow, because we do meal planning either like you write it down.
Right.
Right. Or you use your phone. Right. So you can use your phone, but now like take a step farther. But now I do have to say not everyone is really embracing AI.
Right.
So that's why I'm just sharing that as like for those that are.
No,
This is an option. Okay. It's a new option. Otherwise, if not, and you're still on the digital, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You can still write it down on your notes.
Right.
Write it down on the calendar.
Paper and
Paper and pen still works, I mean, like all of these work. So, but all of these don't work for everybody.
Right. And it's whatever's going to work that we're going to have follow through with it.
Right. So it's the same thing. So like if I say to my husband, could you, you're on your way to the store. Oh, it's on your way. Could you? Well, what do I need? Hold that thought. So if I write it down, I'll take a picture and I'll send it to him.
Right.
Because he might not have my list. Right. Or if it is online, it's easy. Just click it, just off it goes. Right.
So nice.
So it's just so nice.
I know. And the
delivery of it, that's just so nice.
Yes, that's another thing. And I think probably when I was a new mom, I had like this need to want to do everything, but you also have to buy your time. Like time is of the essence. I know attorneys love using that phrase, but it really is.
No, it is.
What can you offload from your plate to like really focus on the things that are either going to have a significantly higher rate of return
Yes.
for your time, or just release a lot of that pressure and anxiety that you carry as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, whatever your lane is.
Yeah.
The reality is we all have a lot on our plate.
Yes. And the hardest part is to let go and to delegate.
Yes.
Right? Like even as a business entrepreneur, right? Like, oh my gosh, like I've done this.
Yes.
So now I'm letting someone else do it.
Right.
Right? So am I willing to give them all of it? Or just kind of just like piecemeal it to make yourself comfortable to be able to say, oh, you know what? Those results are good.
Right.
On the business side, right? So the same thing with the personal. So like, do you have your meals delivered to the house?
Right.
If that works for you, that is fantastic.
Right.
Right? If you want to do it make that work for you. So the thing that gets us is people judge us. Right? But
they also
we think about it, but then others reinforce it.
Right.
And that's the hardest part, to separate and to ignore. Right? So what you have to do is just be like, you know what? This works for me. It might not last. I mean, it might not.
Right.
But right now it works because this is how it's happening with my family. If it doesn't work for you, okay, I'm sorry. But, try it out. See what happens.
Right. And we're always in a constant process of editing, right?
Always.
Like we edit the people that we talk to or hang out with. We edit what we're eating, what type of exercise we're doing.
Right.
The reality is we're in a process of constant evolution, whether we choose to agree or whether we choose to engage in it or not. Sometimes it just happens automatically.
Yeah.
And I agree, because what the systems that worked for me when I had toddlers are not systems that necessarily I can implement now.
Right.
Thankfully, because now I have children that can help and can engage.
Yes.
And that takes training.
That takes a lot of training.
So absolutely, I think you can't just stick to one thing or assume that whatever worked for you is going to work for me and vice versa.
Right.
So let's touch on the home, right? Because I tend to believe that it all starts there.
Yes, it does.
It has nothing to do about what the familial makeup is, but really the heart, the soul of your home will flow into every aspect of your being.
Yeah.
And where I saw the most evolution for me was simplifying my home.
Yeah.
I had 4 kids, 2 years apart, each of them, and I just was surrounded by so much clutter and stuff. And it wasn't making me happy. It actually was stressing me out.
Yeah.
And we've touched on this on your podcast. Yes. And I thought, well, this doesn't work for me right now. And I kept thinking, and I started evaluating, okay, what systems, what things no longer meet my needs or are bringing me joy. And I started taking them out one by one. And when I started simplifying my home and thinking about because I think when I walk into my house, I want it to feel like a breath, just a breath of fresh air. And that's what I try to aspire. Does it happen every single day? No, I just told you I have 4 kids. The reality is it's not going to happen every day.
But the majority of the time it does.
It does.
Right.
I feel that my home is a sanctuary from everything else that I cannot control.
Right.
I can control my home. And so finding tools to simplify and organize, even though I am not I would not describe myself as an organized person, really allowed me to focus on other areas of my life in achieving other things. I'm sure you encounter individuals like that have that same. What tools do you think are the most helpful to moving from a place of chaos, disorganization, to a place that your home feels like a breath of fresh air?
So first, I agree with you. I always say that your home is your sanctuary and you need to enjoy and relax.
You pay a lot of money for it.
Pay a lot of money. Yeah. So enjoy your home. You have all these surroundings, right? Like you chose this home to, right? Okay. So like my home it took me, and no lie, over a year and a half to get it to a certain area, right? But now over time, I've had to now tweak because what happens is, as you had mentioned, your children grow up.
Yep.
Right? The things that they used to need, they don't need any longer.
Right.
Right? So making this, the hardest part in anything that we do, whether it's your business or your home, is to actually acknowledge that you want to have something change.
Yeah, and that's hard,
right?
Sometimes.
And that's really hard, right? But it's the overwhelm, right, that causes your health issues. It's the anxiety. And so when you're like in that mode, it's really hard sometimes to get out of that cloud. But there are times where you actually feel that if you do something small.
That's true.
So you start small. Okay, so okay. Can you do a garage in a weekend? Sure. Am I going to be exhausted on Monday? Absolutely. Am I going to like what I like? Oh, well, sure. But you know how many hours that took?
Yes.
Right? So if you start small, what I mean by that is that male stock. Start there. Because if you don't know where to start very small. Your nightstand. Very small.
Also trouble
right?
area.
Yes. Right? But if you start at a small location, then you can then see the result. So that could take maybe 15, 30 minutes. But like no disruptions. Just focus on it.
Focus on it.
Focus on it. Set a timer. Play music. And then what happens after that, what you need to do that a lot of people sometimes don't realize the impact of it, you have to congratulate yourself. You have to give yourself a pat on the back. I always give myself an extra cup of coffee. Depending on the kind of day, I might give you something else to think about, right? To drink, to be like, oh. But we don't congratulate ourselves of what we've just accomplished.
Right.
Because it's huge. Right? So the linen closet, right? Same thing. You start small in these areas, and then you kind of like, I know I get that.
Right.
Now I get it.
Building habits.
It's a building a habit, right? And so once you go through it, right? And you figure out the small, then you can tackle on the pantry. Then you can tackle on the kitchen cabinets. But now, the kitchen itself, break it apart
Into like zones.
into zones. Focus on one area, wherever your stove is. Focus on that area, and then be done with it. Congratulate yourself. Start on it another day, right? So if you give yourself time blocking is key, and no matter what we do, even on the projects that we have in our home,
Right.
right? I mean, that's just it. So once you get that going, then you're going to see, oh my gosh, I could do like daily tweaks in the morning. I could do a daily tweak at night. So all this work that I've done, I can actually make that manage. So my biggest nemesis still is two things. One is dirty dishes in the sink at night. I can't have it. I just can't. Like, it kills me the next morning, right?
They need to invent like a robo-rock.
They would. They really do, right? And laundry. Okay. Yeah. So how did I solve those problems? In my night routine, I actually make sure, no matter how tired I am, that the dishes no longer are in the sink. Right. They go in the dishwasher. I run the dishwasher every night. People are like, oh, I said, but that's for me. Because I'll tell you, because I tell you what happens the next morning, right? So my night is kitchen counter clean, no dishes in the sink. I run my dishwasher. I actually get all my thermoses for the kids done the night before. I fill them up. Because that 1 minute filling up that water bottle is, I mean, even like for the gym, you know, it takes a lot.
Yep.
In the morning, because you're just like, why am I standing here again?
Right. This could have been taken care
of. Like, saving my time and energies, like whatever. So that became part of my night routine. So then I brought it into my living room, right? I fluff up my pillows. I put my blankets away. Those, you know, the TV clippers.
Right.
Like, why are they spread out of it? Oh, well, yeah, no. Okay, so we cook them together. There, I'm done. Pick up whatever's loose end, because remember, everything in your home has to have a place.
Right.
So if it's out of place, the hardest part is to put it back. So if you take that night reset, right, to put wherever, like those sneakers, whatever, or whatever shoes, put them in the basket for you. I'll put it on my, my shoe mat by the door. That's it.
Great.
There goes 30 minutes of ease. Done. Is it? We're good. Because then the next, and then I also throw in, because I look at my calendar, do I need to pack my car up? What is my next morning? So now that we flip over to the business side, right? So do I need to have my car ready for a client for the next morning? Right? Let me get that done. So let's flip it to the kids. How about their backpacks? Get that ready the night before. What about their uniforms? Business side. What am I going to wear tomorrow? What am I going to see? Right? So
absolutely.
Right? So these are small little tweaks and habits that you can incorporate in the nightly routine. But it's not like it's going to be hard because you have to figure it out.
Right.
You have to see where it goes. Right.
It sounds daunting in the beginning.
It does. But you know what? Start with yourself.
Right.
Because then you can see, like for you, like, okay, so I look at my calendar. I do for the business side and also for the personal Sundays. Right. So, but then I still do in between. I do every day the night before. Right. Just to kind of refresh my memory of like where I'm going. Right. What am I doing? Right. And the kids flip that calendar. Right. Because that's what we do. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. I completely forgot it's tomorrow. So do I need to change differently? Do I not need to change?
Right.
So if you can incorporate that on you, then you can see how it flows easier, and it can then funnel to the kids.
Absolutely. And they feed off so much of our own energy and like our own systems. And what we've tried to do at home is really make them a part of the routines. And I do the same thing. I mean, my husband helps me a lot with the dishes sometimes because I do all the cooking, but the kids are in charge in the mornings. They unload the dishwasher. Is it perfect? It is not. So, however, I would rather it not be perfect, but then be involved and get part of, the life training, let's just say, of doing it, than it be perfect. But I agree. And I think that, touching back on what you said, it does feel daunting in the beginning, like any other thing you would start.
Always.
But the more you do it, it really builds on the next thing. So I definitely agree in starting small, a drawer, the refrigerator, whatever it may be. But then that feeling will like carry you on to the next thing, especially for a disorganized.
Yeah, so remember, everything that you do, you have to congratulate yourself.
Yes. I should tell you about it.
Because that will keep the momentum going for you, and your mind will be like, oh wow, I've actually accomplished something.
Right.
So just the same thing, like if you for a client, you just won something, or you did this for your client is like, oh my gosh, right? So my clients are like, wow, I actually understand where you're coming from. So once you realize that, then it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a life transformation, part of everyday living.
And it's funny how it'll go from personal to the business.
Because it's an overflow. Yes. And so for us, it's always that like, does it even exist, that life-work balance? Right? I know, that's what they say.
You read out 11.
No. Well, first off, they say it's like 50-50.
Yeah.
40, 60,
Changes everything.
30, 70, right? Like, so like, where does that come into play? So what do you do with that? Well, it's called boundaries, right? Having your non-negotiables. I think we talked about this too.
Yes.
So my non-negotiables, I've added a couple more. Aside from non-negotiable is totally like the coffee. It's like caffeine, like total. Right?
Yes.
But then you have to like consider self-care, right? Preventative care.
Yep.
Which is not talked about a lot at all. And, that's also a disservice because, we also take care of our children for the preventative care. But we, too, as parents, have to think about it as well. Right? I mean, like, so these are all these non-negotiables that you're just like, what? And like, yes, that's why it's called a non-negotiable.
Right. You can't negotiate. Not even up to yourself.
No,
we tend to do that.
We tend to do that because it's easy. Right? Because it's like, oh, no, I'm going to be okay. Until something happens.
Right.
And then your health is like, oh,
Falls to the wayside.
falls to the wayside. Right? So I think one of your non-negotiables is exercising.
Right.
So is mine. That's self-care. Because it's also doing preventative care. Right? But it took us a while to get there onto that routine.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I mean, like, I don't know about you, but it's still to this day is the same. Right? So if you already have that already set, that's non-negotiable, for you personally, you will then have to make it accountable because then you make yourself accountable.
Correct.
Right? And make you feel good about it. And that's what we want to do. We want to feel good about it. Because it's hard work. It ain't easy. It's really not easy.
No, it isn't. And it's an ongoing process.
It's ongoing process, yes. Because
just jumping a little bit ahead, what is your favorite area to organize?
I like it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really do. I know that sounds like, I do. From the primary closet to the primary bedroom to the kitchen. Because you know what? It's all areas of a home that is lived in.
Yes.
Right? And that somebody of my clients' family members, whether they're single, whether they're married, whether they have kids or not, it's all impactful on their daily lives. And seeing that is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, so for me, I mean, like, I even like garages. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, I really do. So
Good garage.
it's like a good garage, because you know what happens to the garage?
Yeah.
Whatever you don't want in the home, it winds up in the garage.
Right.
Right, because that's also another area that's large that is not like with too many walls. It doesn't have a closet. But maybe you do have a closet. You might have those beautiful cabinets, whatever, right? But what I'm saying is that even the garage can get very daunting. You have to just throw it in there.
Yeah, it becomes the waste
Because it's easier,
area, right?
right?
For me, it's my kitchen.
Okay.
Like I can breathe. Like if my kitchen is organized, then and clean, obviously, I could feel like, okay, I can tackle the day. But when my kitchen gets all crazy, that's where I start feeling this
The closed door.
cloud. Yes. Like a dark cloud hanging over my head. And as I get older, I realize the importance, the impact that spaces actually play in how we feel.
Oh, yes.
And how we approach life circumstances. I know that if I go into a space that's white, that's clean, that's, energetically, I feel more called to be in that area.
Right.
So how would you tell listeners that they can implement those same sort of acknowledgements? Like what tools can they use to create a very welcoming environment?
Well, the tools, aside from like creating your own daily and nightly, weekly and monthly checklists, and that is actually really important, right? Because it will then make you accountable to get that done to where you want to be able to walk into your home and be like, oh, it's not like the feeling of like, what should it feel like?
Right.
Or what would it feel like? It's one of those where this is how I would like to make it feel.
Right.
Right. So if you actually get that under your belt, like in your mind, that you can make that happen. So again, step by step, little by little, because the home is a huge aspect, right? So for the kitchen, again, break it down. Make it so that you can make that work for you and the family. So if you're going to organize a kitchen, literally break it down. And so that it's not too time consuming. Take breaks in between. Play music. Have TV in the background, you know? Take a step back.
Right.
Go back into the project, right? And then you'll be like, oh, okay. And then remember, always give yourself a pat on the back and congratulate yourself for what you've done. Now, no matter what we think about, no matter how big or how small, you've actually accomplished something, right? So our brains are like, well, that's a really big, like, this is huge.
Right.
And you didn't finish it. So we talk negative thoughts. So then you feel like, oh, yeah, I really didn't do very much.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or why didn't I do more? Why couldn't I have done that? So then we self-talk ourselves into that negative. And then that's why you have to always congratulate yourself, no matter how small or no matter how big, because then will outweigh the negativity. So again, you take whatever area of your room or of your house, and then you just literally portion it out on what time and day that works for you.
Yeah.
And because it really is, and that's why it took me a good year to make that happen. Because I took the time to try to figure this out for myself so that I can have my clients understand the importance of going through it all. Now, the purging, the emotional, the emotional items that we have in our homes, right? The overload of decision making is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge because we actually in a day make over 35,000 decisions in a day.
Wow. I had not heard that.
We make a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And 200 of it is food. So it's a lot to process.
Yeah.
So let alone a project in your home. Right? So if you take small, you get to make sure, and then before you know it, you are on fire and you're like, oh, I got this. Right. You know, because one thing that also holds us kind of back is that Pinterest perfect.
Right.
It's that slowing down of, well, wait a second, my house kind of looks like that, but why doesn't it look like that? So, you know, like that perfection.
Right.
That why isn't it like this? Or why does it look so good? Or why does she her house look so good?
Right.
Right. So just remember that clutter doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time.
I feel like these
It doesn't happen.
concepts overlap with our health and wellness journeys as
exactly.
well.
It's like literally when you think about it, it's all connected.
Yeah, it is.
And, you know, and so for us, the fast forward is how to slow that down. So if you do take a step by back, like literally little pieces, create that daily, create that weekly, create that nightly, you will see that everything else, those are the tools, right? So now if you want to go digital, okay, fine. Use, you know, there's like your notes. You could do Asana for, you know, online. You could do Evernote if you want to use it. There's so many apps to keep you accountable for what you want to do. There's also Google, Google Calendar, Google Docs, Google everything.
Yeah.
Utilize that. Write it down. Highlight it, right? So calendar, color code it. So you can also make it sure, you know, like you have the Google Zooms, you have Google Meetings, you have everything on Google. Use that tool to keep you accountable. So actually put it in the calendar. I'm going to work on the kitchen. Or just, and just be like, okay, and I don't check that box. Okay, well then just make it like a day-to-day reminder until you actually get to check that box.
Right. I think that's helpful.
It's helpful because you know why? You see it as a reminder and you didn't check that off. And how good it is to feel something and write it off and check it out. You're like, yes. Doesn't it feel good? You know, do the happy dance. It's just like, yes, I got this going. And so just imagine that same feel throughout the entire house. Right?
Spectacular.
I mean, it's a great feeling. But again, it's daunting to start.
So I think what you're saying is use whatever tool, as long as it's a tool that you're gonna use, because so many people buy a million things or download a million apps and then they don't end up using anything. So you have to find something that you are going to commit to and actually implement.
So yes. So let's say we're going to use Google. All right. So it doesn't work for a week. Well, I'm not going to go get another one.
Right.
I'm not going to, just because it didn't last for a week.
Right.
Right. So you have to give yourself at least a good month to see if that system works for you. Right. Rather than, oh, well, no. And then you kept scrolling. Right. Right. Be like, wait a second. I didn't use this app yet. Well, wait a second. I didn't use this one. Oh, but this one, my friend recommend. Okay. That's awesome. Then that's amazing. However, you wanted to use Google, and Google probably has the same
Features, right?
features that you want to try out. So I'm going to try it out. So if a month is too long, at least give it 2 weeks.
Okay. That makes
At
sense.
least.
Yeah.
Okay. Because then once you're
gratification kind of person.
instant, right?
Yeah.
Instant, right? But then you also have to, when you do this instant and you actually find the tools, the online tools, even if you write them down, right? On your weekly, like let's say you have a day planner,
Right.
right? And that's a tool, right? And that's a tool, right? So do you journal? Keep that going, right? So if it either or, keep it at least for at least 2 weeks to a month to see how it works for you.
Right. Give it time.
Give it time, because what you're also going to be implementing on yourself are boundaries. And that's the hardest part.
It's kind of like a self-discovery.
It's a self-discovery mission. And guess what? It's ever evolving.
Right.
Our days change. You know, like that one email, that one phone call,
I know.
that one moment in time, right? So you have to like reel yourself back in, change your mindset of how things are going to happen.
Right.
And you're like, okay, how did I get here? It's 6 o'clock. And then I'm looking at my schedule, I'll be like, all right, so none of this happened. So now it's going to carry over to the following day. But I'm okay with that. Because, I solved my problem, solution, all good.
Right.
Right? And be like, I'm okay. Because things happen for a reason.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
that's hard to acknowledge. It's hard. And yeah.
And I think it's I can only speak for myself. Like, it does feel good when you're able to, like, I'm a handwriting person. I have a digital calendar as well, but like I get a sense of satisfaction when I write it down and I can check it off, and I do it in my personal as well as my business side, because it gives me, okay, I've removed I've taken what I have in my brain, put it onto paper, and it gives me the peace of mind that you're just, I don't know, it's a release of, that tension you have of all the things as moms, as business owners that we carry. And I remember you talking about tabs and like how we have 7 million tabs open on a computer, but that's really like what our brain feels like sometimes. So I think that these tools give us systems that allow us to focus on what's the task at hand, but also, giving us a sense of accountability, like, okay, well, I still need to do these certain other tasks. And it's okay. It doesn't necessarily have to get done that day, but having them written, like, gives you that release to be like, okay, I'll get to that.
Yeah. And I think that we are our worst critics.
Yes.
We just are.
Yeah.
And so that's why the tools, again, is based on what is more comfortable for you. So again, you like the writing, right? The actual writing, which is phenomenal, right? But if you're digital or if you're both, you want to keep doing that.
Right.
Right. So Google, I like to use as an example because we all use Google, the majority, right? So let's say that you don't use Google. Try then, to-do lists. There's so many other tools out there. And so that's where the overwhelming comes into play.
Right.
Because not all these apps will have so many other features that you might not even need.
Right.
Right. So then just use what your phone currently has.
Right.
Right. So rather than going to find another app, use the apps that already you're on your phone.
Yeah.
Right. So you already have a notes. You can create folders in there. You can create tabs in there. You can make that really organized. You have your email on your phone, right? Create folders within your emails.
Gotta implement that.
Right. You have your photos.
Yes.
You can make albums in your photos. You have Google Photos. You can make albums within those photos. So use what you probably, there's so many things and apps that we already have that we don't really utilize.
Right.
So rather than looking for a new one, look to see what you already currently have.
Yes. And I think sometimes we think the more complex, the better. But the reality is sometimes the more simple, you're actually going to follow through with it.
And so I could share with you because my kids, and this is like, I throw myself because I can relate. If you go on my phone, you can just scroll, and I have it all color coded by the, right. Okay. So scroll. Mommy, you have way too many apps. I said, yes, but I use a lot of them. No, you don't, Mommy. You don't use these apps. They're like, well, I think I'm going to use them. But Mommy, when was the last time you used this one?
Right.
So even so what do I do then? That's actually part of my monthly to actually go through.
That's a good tip.
Guess what? You ready? Sitting in car pickup. Or if I'm at a parking or I'm waiting for somebody, take your phone, because we're always on it, and try to organize it a little bit. Because guess what? 15 minutes is more work and more done, and you're focused on it. Because why? You're in the car. There's no interruption.
No interruptions. There's nowhere to be.
There's nowhere to be.
Yes.
But you're always on that phone.
Great.
Right? So I go through my emails. That's my time. Emails, delete, put them in my folders.
Yes.
Sometimes I do my photos, and then I'll do my photos. Photos, emails, and then I'm like, oh, that app that my daughter was telling me about that I never use. I'm like, wait, but maybe she's right. But wait a second. Why did I download? Oh, because it was hers initially. Oh, and it just carried over, right? So like these are things that you could do within a very relatively short period of time. And before you know it, oh, I'm done. And guess what? Kids are back in the car. I can drive off, or my appointment, wherever you might be, I can continue on. So use the apps that you already have. See if you can, that works for you rather than adding first.
And like utilizing your time wisely.
Right.
Like if you're already going to be there, you don't have to get on Instagram and scroll. You could actually do something productive.
Right. Like, you could do Instagram maybe like later in the afternoon.
Right.
Just to kind of see that, like the whole day events, right? Just to kind
Goes
of
back to your point on boundaries.
boundaries.
You can also have boundaries with yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't typically like them.
We don't like them because we're like, oh, okay, wait a second. Those time boundaries, we're putting them on ourselves. Like, I'm going to make myself accountable, like, whatever.
Right. That's where I feel like a lot of us, myself included, struggle with that.
I struggle too. But the thing is that then I realize after the fact.
Right. It doesn't feel great.
Then I'm like, why did I just do that?
Right.
I could have. I should have. Would have. Right? Kind of like, well, there's always tomorrow.
Yes.
Right? There's always tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then are we going to like tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right. So that's where that comes in. It's like that. That's what I'm saying.
Dose of accountability.
Right. So that's where I'm saying, right? And so the one thing that I always like to say that people probably don't realize, but no is a full sentence. Just is.
Yep.
No. You don't need an explanation. Now you can always say, oh, no, thank you. Or, oh, thank you. That's such a lovely idea. But no. So then where I'm coming with that is you add on things. So what happens is if your calendar is full, so this is where this reflection comes into play, right? So your calendar is full, you're very busy. So what gets neglected is your home.
Right.
So that your sanctuary. Why? Because my calendar is overfloweth, correct? And then your kids have their own calendars. And so, but wait a second. Well, why did I take this on? What am I doing here?
Yeah, you're sacrificing one thing
So
for another.
that's why when you kind of look at your calendars, take on look at the commitments that you're saying yes to, and how maybe a no is okay to say, right? And it's because why? Then you free up time for the time that you would like to spend,
Right.
the quality time, the family time, the lifetime, right? Because things happen, and people need to say no a little bit more often, just to see how that works, because we always like to say yes to a lot of things, right? Yes to, oh, no problem. Give it to the busiest mom there is and she'll get it done. Of course we get it done.
Right.
Because why? We're on a tight schedule. We want to get it done. We committed to it. Right. But then we ourselves are affected health-wise. Then we have anxiety that we don't follow through on it.
Right.
Right. And then we're like, wait a second, I got to do this. Oh my God, where do I have to go? I have to go to the store right now. It's 10 o'clock at night. What am I going to do?
I know.
right? And you're just like, why did I say that?
Yes, right.
We don't rest. So if we kind of take a step back on that, because that all also overflows into the home,
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
right? And we've all been there. Mm-hmm. And that's where if you take a step back just a little bit, you can see those results.
Implement tools,
that you already have.
checklists.
See what you have
Yeah.
before you add on.
Correct.
Yes.
And I think you can probably extrapolate that into
Absolutely. Then you can just take on whatever, because you already might have others that you have already. Maybe you've used them in the past, but you didn't see how it truly can be used.
Yes.
Right? Like, so you download it, you make it work, you pay for it. And then you're ready to pay the expense. Well, let's see if we can make that work for you.
Right.
Right. So I have that clients do the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, no, I have that. Well, yeah, I have that too. Oh no, I have that as well. So, they have like 20 million things, but did they, well, yeah, no, it did work. Why didn't it work? Well, I tried it out for a day.
Right. You have to be
And you just had, and so consistency. So once you're consistent on something, you get to see that the results of the consistency makes you then accountable for making that happen.
right.
Right. And so there's that vicious cycle of everything.
Yeah, it all flows
It
together.
all flows together. But once you get your system, my system in place, so my second numbness, aside from the kitchen dirty dishes, is my laundry. Okay, just sharing that with you. I do share. And so it took me quite a long time to get a laundry schedule. So for me, it's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Till 3 days. Okay.
I do 3 days. Okay. And then, of course, on a weekend, if we have like a aha moment of like, oh my gosh, then it'll be fine. So Mondays are linens, sheets, oh yes, and then, lawn. Wednesdays are towels. And then I do my, other maybe one or two. And then Fridays are bath mats. And then some laundry.
And clothes-wise?
Clothes-wise is like the whites and the darks. Mm-hmm. See how that works. Because remember, you want to be able to finish the laundry. I know. It's a process. So the easiest part is, that's why I only break it up. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have to break that up. Because the loads can just be like, just like anxiety overwhelmed of like the piles.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I have some clients that do laundry every day.
That's me.
Okay, that's fine. But it works. Does it work? Okay. So I do it 3 days a week, right? So, but there's some that do it every day. Because my goal is to make sure that you have time on the weekends for that quality time.
Right.
Just to be, because you just don't know what might happen of like the birthday parties or like the events or like going out with your husband or having company come over or like the guest, right? So try to keep away from the weekends to do that home stuff the best that you can. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but you have to, right? But at least the majority of it is done.
Right.
So that schedule for me, the Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays has been a challenge because some days I'm like, well, then if it's on the weekend, then that's your problem.
Right.
Then you need to do it.
Right. Which is totally fine.
Which is totally fine, right? It's totally fine, especially that my daughters are now much older.
Yes.
And they can so do the laundry now.
Of course.
Of course.
How are they going to...
Right? And they can't do the whites and the darks, right? Hot water, cold water.
Yes.
Something shrank. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's a learning
experience. Right? But like, so those are my two big ones. So that like, there's certain things in your house probably too, that's like one of those nemesis. So like, how can you make that fit? Like what could you do about it? Right? So come up with a schedule that might work for you. So you do laundry every day. That's phenomenal. So yeah, but you need to make sure that all of it gets done.
And put away.
So if you do the wash, then you do the dryer, then you fold. So then it's so much easier to do, ready, fold and leave it there. Because what's the hardest thing to do?
Preaching to the choir.
The hardest thing to do, that's why I do mine, I break it up. Because it is overwhelming.
Yes.
And it's just like, but this is the thing. If you fold something and you know that it has a place and a home, it makes it so much easier.
That is true.
Right? Like, so like for the towels, I know I have my linen closet. Because why? I actually purged out my linen closets. I now have room for these pliers, right? There's that room, right? So there's that. So I had a client last week say, because we were going through her primary room and it was just like going, through everything. And then she's like, this causes me anxiety. I said, what does? She says, this. And so she pointed out to a pile of clothes of her husband's that had been folded. And the last thing, she's like, why is it that it can't be placed over there?
Right.
I said, because there's no home.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you're right. So I said, it's not like your husband doesn't want to put it away.
Right.
He just doesn't have a place for it to put back.
So you just leave it there.
So you just leave it there.
Right.
Because guess what? During the week, he's probably going to use it. And it's going to be gone.
Exactly.
And so guess what?
That's the trouble.
3 days later.
Right.
But for her, the anxiety always came and was, I walk by it every day.
Right.
I wake up to it in the morning. I go to sleep and it's still there.
Yeah, it's a reminder.
It's a reminder. And so like, how does that work? So that's where that comes into play where, oh, it's that pass through of like, well, why is his closet this way?
I know.
Like, well, how did this happen?
Right.
Right? Okay. So things happen as well. Even for the men,
Yep.
right?
A lot of times.
Yes, a lot of times.
Right.
Right. So we can't not forget them because they have their own.
I know.
Right. We love them dearly. We just going to try.
Make them allies.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Could we just work on that just a little bit?
Yeah.
So, but again, if they just like us and for the kids and for everybody, even like when you have your pets, right? The same thing for the babies, the fur babies, right? My little guy has not only one, but 2 baskets.
He's a special guy.
He's a special guy because we have, 2 separate parts of the house where he has to like know where he has to pick because that's right. But do I go through it? Sure. Because he's got his favorites.
Right.
We all have our favorites, just like we have our favorite clothes.
Of course.
Right?
We
I
always
mean, come on.
go for the
We always
that
go.
we
We
feel
always, right?
confident
And
in.
so do our furries, our furry little guys. So I'm a dog mom. And so my little guy, Eddie, he gets all these sorts of treats and these things. And then friends bring it over. And then I'm like, oh, and look, he has another toy. And I'm like, oh, joy.
So
what
easy to
basket, what
collect
basket are we going to put that one in? Like the overflow of things,
Yes.
right? Like, oh, but then you hide it in the closet because then you have then the closet of the gift closet. You see, so it's that
So many areas.
There's just so many areas of like those hideaways, right?
Exactly.
So like I said, it just comes overwhelming. So the only thing I can say is just take a closet at a time, right? So if you have an arts and crafts closet, if you have a coat closet, like I just talked about this because of our 305 weather.
Yes.
Right. So in my house, I did have that I thought a great place for the coats and the jackets and our wraps. Right. So we shoved it in the guest room closet because why? Why would we? Why would be the 305? Well, it's been a little bit cold.
It has been so weird.
So weird. But just knowing that it was in the guest room, but now we needed to kind of tweak it a little bit to make it more like user friendly for us now. So that also comes into play of then reassessing what you currently have,
Right.
right?
Even by season.
Even by season, even like wherever you live. So for us, we are very fortunate that our seasons are kind of blend,
Yeah.
kind of
Hot, hotter.
and then hottest and possibly cold.
Right.
But no matter what season,
Right.
whether they blend, whether you really do get that spring, summer, fall, winter, right? You still need to go through the motions of taking advantage of that spring cleaning, taking advantage of that winter, taking advantage of that fall,
Absolutely.
and taking advantage of it. But that's the hardest part because then you're going to say that you don't have the time. But then again, if you flip it and you've done your daily and your nightly, your weekly and your monthly, that's not so overwhelming.
No. And it will equate to having more time.
Exactly. The quality of life.
So I want to thank you so much. I feel like you've given so much information to our audience. It's been so fun. I feel like like I said in the beginning, we could talk about this forever.
Absolutely.
And it was a joy to have you on.
No, thank you so very, very much for having me on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Deanna. I know that I will be implementing some of the tips that she shared. If you like this kind of content and you want to continue to get more information and listen to more conversations, subscribe to our channel.